You're gonna lay down there? Okay. Hello everybody! Welcome to Loch Briar Knits. I am Kelly, your hostess, and I have a little companion here, not so little, 70-pound companion. Scout is being very needy today, so she has decided to park herself right by one of my studio lights. I'm sure this will go fine. So welcome to episode what I think is 144, and I am about 93% sure that I am correct. So I do have a finished object. I finished my Felix sweater. So let's jump right in. There's literally no administration. Hit the like and subscribe button. It's a low admin day. I took today off, so I keep looking down because I'm a little worried she's gonna like knock over the lamp. We're just gonna go with it, right? Right. She is still battling kennel cough. It's petering out slowly. Very, very slowly. Like we'll go 2 days with no coughing, and then on the third day, she'll let out a cough, or she'll go in a little coughing jag, nothing major. But every time that happens, you have to start counting again because it's like 10 days from the last time they coughed for the virus to be considered out of them. Otherwise, she's fine. Lots of energy, eating her food, waiting it out. Just waiting it out. I'm the world's most impatient person, so waiting, not my forte. Anyway, back to the finished object. I made it to go about, stick my pockets back in. I usually get it to go kind of where my belt is, sort of like at the end of my belt. That's where I like the sweaters to hit generally. So I knit this out of Cascade 220 in the Sparrow colorway. This took 2 skeins. 2 skeins. I have 2 skeins left over. I could make another one. You get a lot of mileage out of this yarn because it's sort of a worsted. Is it Aran that comes after worsted and then bulky? So this sort of rides the line between bulky and Aran, maybe. No, worsted and Aran. To me, it definitely feels like a worsted weight, I think. But again, I got so much mileage out of this. So if you watched the last episode, I had talked about, I think the last 2 episodes, all the mistakes I'd made, kind of like when I was first starting out. I had the wrong size needles, and I was a little concerned that that would show up. But you know what? I don't really I don't notice any difference between like really here and here. So it blocked out really well. The eyelets in the raglan detailing all look great. I love it. I didn't make any mistakes there. It's about the only place I didn't make a mistake. When I did the arms, it called for a 6mm, which is what this was knit out of, except I got down to about, I think maybe around here, and realized I had been knitting with a 5.5 and a 6 needle. I was using my interchangeables. So I switched it to the 2 6s. So when I went to do the sleeves, it called for a 6mm, but I was using my Chiaogu shorties, and that only goes up to 5mm. So I thought, well, I'm just going to do 5mm because I like my sleeves to be usually fitted, and I did definitely want them to be fitted for this sweater. So I thought that's fine. But then after I had finished one sleeve and I tried it on, I was like, that feels kind of tight. And I was debating undoing it and maybe doing magic loop with the 6mm. But then I thought I'd made so many mistakes at the beginning of this sweater. I was just like, no, it's not going to happen. It's just not happening. I'm not doing it. So I thought I will just aggressively block it out, which I did. And it fits perfect. It's like really good. I originally thought I'd made the sleeves a little like way too short. And then, see, here's the thing. I was measuring them based on my Pebble Bay sweater, I think, which has like the sleeves kind of come to here. And the sleeves were 12 inches from like the here, like the armpit attachment, whatever, to the end. So that's what I did. And then when I bound off, I looked at it and I was like, I think that's too short. I tried it on. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to aggressively block it. It might be a little too short, but when I tried it on, it didn't really feel like it was too short. It was a little shy of how long I would have liked it. And it still is, even after the blocking. Now, I think if I didn't have this shirt on underneath, like I've got a little, like a long sleeve tee underneath, that it would probably kind of like move down further. But I don't, maybe not. But it's almost like bracelet length. That's my only kind of pet peeve, but not too much, because I would probably always have a tee under this anyway, especially in the wintertime. So I just like match it up with my green tee or my white tee, and it just has little cuffs coming out, and that's fine. But I think going forward, I am going to add, I think when I do my sleeves, I am going to do them maybe 13 inches to 14. Because if this, like, to me, I should have knit up to here and then started the ribbing. So the ribbing is 2 inches. So yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I am going to knit the sleeve to be 12 inches, and then I'm gonna start the ribbing and do it that way, because I'm constantly, that's my pet peeve when I'm knitting a sweater, and it's got nothing to do with the pattern. It's me making the mistake, is that I keep thinking I only need it to be this long. And I really should be trying it on kind of prior to binding off, and not measuring it against the sweater that I already have, because that's what I was doing. I was holding it kind of, you know, on top of the sleeve that I already had. Yes, I know you're there. I know you're there. We have, back to the dog for a second, we have a carbon monoxide detector in our hallway that leads the front area to the back area. And I've had that since I've owned the house, and I've owned this house since I think 2001 now. I think it may be dying, because the only thing in our house that would give off carbon monoxide to any degree is the wood stove down in the basement. But it's probably been at least 3 weeks since we've had that running. It was beeping, and what I think happens is when she gets excited, she runs down the hall. And she runs down the hall like rubbing her body against the wall, and I think she's bumping it, and then when it's kind of partially out, it beeps, I think, to let you know it's not plugged in all the way. And the beeping just freaks her out, so then she doesn't want to go downstairs. She'll stay upstairs, and she's all wigged out. Can you see that? She's such a character. I know. You're okay. Not here. Here you're a little loopy. That is my Felix sweater. I am 98% pleased with it. I have worn it quite a few times already. I did realize, however, today when I went to put it on, I had all of the yarn from where I attached my sleeves reattached. Like, you know, I had the yarn like way down. It's like this big string of yarn. My husband's like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I've been like wearing this around." I've worn it outside of the house. I am very pleased with it. I love how it turned out. I'm definitely going to be making another one, and I'm going to make the other one out of, I guess this one here. That's the dark gray, but I am going to wait. I think I'm probably going to do that in maybe October, November, and I'll have it for next winter. That is the Felix sweater. So of course, once that is done, I have to decide on my next sweater to cast on, which I'm probably going to do this weekend. I was going to do my second Pebble Bay, but I think what I am going to do is, I'm trying to see if I have it. I think I took it downstairs. The Autumn Lig pullover, I think it's called. I'll put down below here who it's by and the actual name of it. But what I am going to do is I am going to hold the Hypothesis yarn in the Walden colorway. Is this the Walden one? Yep, Walden. And the Illimani Echo Llama in, I think this is like their, it's kind of a grayish beige. So I'm going to hold those double and make it marled. It's a DK weight sweater, so that'll be fine. I think I'm going to start that one. It's just sort of a basic raglan. There's detailing sort of at the neck where there's sort of like a detail line coming down like this, and then another one that sort of goes part way to meet it. And then there's a little detailing sort of about right here on the, like right above the hem, and it looks like kind of like mountains. I am going to do that. I think I would like to do a couple of these sweaters because I really like, it's just your like classic raglan, but I don't think the design of it is going to show up well with the marling of the two yarns together. So I think for this one, I'm just going to do it without that. And then when I do the next one in a solid color, I will do the detailing. So that I think is going to be the next cast on. And I am going to try to get that cast on maybe today. We've got like a 4-day weekend, or I have a 4-day weekend because I took today off, but then we have Monday off as a holiday. The other thing I have been working on, also the yarn I'm using for the autumn lig is part of the stash busting that's my make 9. That was one of my, I had chosen 9 yarns to use up, and then I think I had 2 alternates also chosen, and that was one of the alternates. I just want to see how those blend together. Like, I think it's going to look so fantastic, and I don't want to put it off. So now this is my habitation throw that I am using my Advent yarn from 2023 on from Smash Knits. And if you can see here, I am finishing, I am on the 12th one. The thing I'm kind of thinking now is I'm at the point right now where I should start decreasing. My concern is that, like, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I have enough to go back and forth one more time with what I have left here, but it'll be tight. Also, I would kind of like to start the decreasing with the next yarn, which will be this one. So, because we're getting into the blues now, I will show you how it looks. I love how this is turning out, and this is so addictive. When I start knitting this, I'm just like, I could just go forever. I could just sit here all day long doing this. Make sure I get the right side out here. Okay, so let me see if I can. So here we go. We started with the light colors, and then we kind of get into the grays, and then we moved into the browns. Woo! And then we moved into, get this a little closer, kind of the marling, and then the goldy brown, and then this one here has, it looks like it's got some light blue or maybe some gray in it. Actually, I think that's gray. I have my glasses on. And then it's gonna get, when you look at this next one, it's got like browns and grays and blues in it. So then we're gonna kind of, the next 3 will be these ones. So I have just been like powering away on this. This is sort of my evening. I don't want to think knitting because it is such a simple pattern. If you have not made a habitation throw by Curious Handmade, which is Helen Stewart, I would highly, highly recommend. It is a great way to use up stash yarn, like odd bits. I've made one, like I made two, like this one here behind me is all made out of leftover sock yarn, and it's actually a lot larger than what the pattern calls for, but I wanted like a nice big blanket. So this one I think is probably more in keeping with what the size in the pattern is. I hadn't really looked, but I thought, well, it's kind of made for Advent, so I thought I'm just going to 12, and then once I get to the end of 12, I'll start doing the 13. So I'm really hoping I don't run out before I get to the very end, but I'm sure if I do, I can improvise. I've got enough leftover bits of yarn. So yeah, so that's it. I absolutely love it. This has just been such an enjoyable knit. So I'm actually going to pop the next 3 in here. And I've got like the numbers. They come with like little tags. So I popped the tags down in the center of it. So when I shove them in my bag, I still know which one is which one comes next. So that has been getting a lot of time. I thought this would take me longer to do. It's not taking me any time at all, really. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll make another one with my homespun house advent from 2022. Because I was kind of thinking, what do I want to do with that? I just so enjoy making the habitation throw. This is the 3rd one I've made. And I think what I might do for the homespun house one is take it out to the schooner house, which is our cottage, and maybe put it on the back of the chair that I usually sit and knit on. So I think I might do that. I think it's a good idea. Good thinking, Kelly. So the other thing I have been working on is trying to finish my shroom socks, which sort of got a little left by the wayside because I had gotten sucked into the habitation throw. So I do have the first one done, which I think I've shown you guys on a previous podcast. This is the first one. I love the colors in it. It is so mushroomy, hence the name. And this is Lichen and Lace, who's a Canadian hand dyer. And I have turned the heel. I'm done the heel flap and gusset. And now I've kind of turned, I'm just doing the shaping in the, is gusset? Would this still be considered the gusset? Doing the shaping. And then I just have like, I don't have big feet, so it doesn't take long to do the foot really. So yeah, I'm probably gonna do a little work on those this weekend as well. I would love to be able to finish these this weekend. There's really no reason that I can't. We do have to go out to the schooner house because they were supposed to deliver oil. And so my husband went out after the second last storm and snowblowed, because we have a long driveway, snowblowed the driveway so that the oil truck could get in because they were supposed to be making a delivery, and then they never showed up. Thank you, Irving. So he called them and they said, oh, we'll be there this day or this day. And then they didn't show up, and then we got hit with another snowstorm. So now we have to go blow out the snow all over again. And they're like, oh, well, we'll have the truck there delivering it on Monday, but Monday's a holiday. So I'm going to guess somebody wasn't thinking of that when they said it'll be there on Monday. And of course, they've already said 3 times now they'll be there, and they haven't. So I think we're probably going to switch companies. Anyway, not knitting. Rant. Anyway, so that is pretty much all that I have been working on. Those kind of 3 things. This, and the other, this, that, and the other thing. Anyway, I have not bought any new yarn. I've kind of been toying with the idea of casting on 2 sweaters at the same time. Like this one's going to be kind of a little DK, kind of on the lighter side of DK maybe. And I thought maybe it might also be a good idea to cast on a worsted weight, but I haven't quite settled on a pattern yet. I'm a little itchy to cast on another classic sweater. I know I already have 2, but I absolutely love that sweater. But I thought the 2 I have are like a fingering weight yarn paired with a mohair. And I'm thinking I'm just going to do like a single strand one with a bit more of a structured yarn. Like the 2 I have are quite drapey, which is great. Like, and I wear those sweaters to death. I wear them to death. But I would kind of love to make another one. So I may do that. And I was gonna say maybe do it out of this here, but I already have a, like my first classic sweater is kind of a bluish tone. And so it's sort of this marl blue-gray color that I absolutely love. I love it. Yeah, I don't know what color I'm gonna do. Anyway, I'll figure it out, but I am kind of tempted to have 2 sweaters on the go. But I think what I might do is start one and kind of get down to the body and then go back and start the other one and then get it down to the body, and then it's just going to be like body and sleeve island, which I love. Body and sleeve island. I love knitting. Like there's these times where I'm thinking I should really kind of challenge, like beef up my skills, challenge myself. But when I'm knitting, I just want to relax and I don't really want to think too hard. So maybe I think once I'm retired, get a little more time in my hands, you're not like fighting with the stress of a day job where you finish that at the end of the day and you're just like, I just want to check out. I just want to mentally check out. But for now, I think I am perfectly happy just to sit there and knit on Body Island until the cows come home, as my mother would say. I think I might cast 2 on. So that is about it. That is all she wrote. I do feel like I've made some good progress on my knitting projects. I mean, I finished something with this thing flew off the needles. It was a fast knit. And I could have had it done sooner, but I got distracted with the habitation throw. That's where we stand right now, peeps. In other news, the dog, we've talked about her. She's literally laying over there fast asleep and dreaming. I can feel her paws are going like this. I've got a long weekend ahead of me, which I am thrilled about. I'm trying to read every night. I got out of that habit, and I don't know why, because I have always been such a voracious reader. Like, my relatives used to say they thought my face was a book because I would just be walking around anytime we visited the relatives. It was a little antisocial, just walking around reading a book. And then, I don't know, like life takes over and you've got the day job and you got errands and you got chores and, and then knitting. And I would by the time I got to bed, I was just like, oh. So now I'm soaking in the tub, I'm reading a book for about half an hour, and then if I still have some time left over before lights out, I'll read some more in bed. So I've started reading The Women by Kristen Hanna, which is her new book, and so far it's really good. I think I'm 1 or 2 chapters in, maybe. I love her books. Like, I didn't like the one they made the Netflix one out of, Firefly Lane. I hated that book. I hated it. If I had one more description of the clothing and the hair to tell me what time period I was in, I didn't finish it. I kind of got fed up with it. But I have loved every single book other than that one that I've read. And this one is so far really good. It takes place, I think it's like going to be 4 women during the Vietnam War. The other one of hers, if you haven't read hers, I would strongly suggest is 4 Winds. Amazing. Oh, and The Winter Garden. Amazing. Anyway, Kelly's Reading Corner. I think that's everything. I'm looking around. Did I forget anything? I feel like I've been jawing a lot, so I'm going to shut up now and let you guys go. I should have the February vlog coming out probably in about a week's time, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And until then, happy knitting, and I will see you soon. Bye!